May is a time of year frequently associated with flowers in the Northeast. The woodlands of New England typically present a bounty of spring ephemerals on rich forested slopes and the various wetlands of the region. But one flower does things a bit differently. Aquilegia canadensis, the red columbine, prefers a much more vertical habitat. Columbine species are numerous and common in the mountainous, dry North American West. But here in the comparatively damp, flat East, we are limited to one, albeit beautiful, species of columbine. Aquilegia canadensis occupies forested and occasionally open rocky slopes, typically growing out of rocky crevices. Not a huge fan of wet feet, it is most often seen in an area where pools of water are unlikely to accumulate. Found throughout the Northeast and Great Lakes region, it is only absent from the extreme north of Maine and the highest elevations in the northern Appalachians. To the south, it becomes gradually more rare, only able to occupy sandy, rocky, and dry microsites in the humid southeast. Looking at its range south of Virginia and west of Ohio, it is essentially a heat map of hills and rocky outcrops, such as the hill country of southeast Texas and the Black Elk Hills of South Dakota. Note that it is absent from both the Mississippi River Valley and the coastal plains of the southeast. Though as a popular ornamental plant, several odd disjunctions are bound to appear on this map. Co-occurring species in these types of habitats include but are not limited to maples, oaks, pines, and hemlocks in the overstory, your typical northeastern mixed forest. Especially abundant here was Tsuga canadensis, the eastern hemlock, easy to pick out because it was still early in the season as this video was shot. Growing in the rocks alongside Aquilegia canadensis is a species of Polygonatum, a strange-looking member of the asparagus family, and Polypodium virginiana, a fern appropriately called the rock polypody, because it is essentially an obligate lithophyte, a plant that grows only on rocks. Also present here and in similar habitats of the region is Vaccinium angustifolium, the small bush blueberry, or low bush blueberry. A member of the family Ranunculaceae, columbines could be considered to be buttercups. Specifically, they are in the Phylactroideae subfamily, being most closely related to, but morphologically distinct, from the genus Thalictrum, the so-called Bouteroos, or ruin anemones. Though florally, the genus Aquilegia is quite distinct from its close cousins. More on that in just a bit. As mentioned before, Aquilegia canadensis favors dry, upland, rocky sites, often coming up right between rocks, as pictured here. Its growth habit and floral morphology relates strongly to its pollination strategy. With bright red flowers, typically elevated at least a few feet above the ground, it isn't a stretch to imagine the plant's attractiveness to birds. Hummingbirds specifically are magnetically drawn to the plant's bright red flowers. Each long, heavily modified tubular petal holds a nectary at the top, just the right length for a hummingbird proboscis, the plant's favorite pollinator. Looking at the flowers in greater detail, we see the petals, which we already discussed, the sepals, which are in between the petals. Looking down, we can see the numerous stamens dangling below, followed in series by a whirl of staminodes surrounding the ovary. Finally, at the bottom, we have the style and stigma. The leaves of Aquilegia canadensis are compound and share a form factor seen not only with other plants in the family Ranunculaceae, but it is reminiscent of other plants in the greater order Ranunculales, such as plants in the poppy family or plants in the barberry family. The fruits, when mature, are odd, horn-shaped capsules, ripening later in the summer. Aquilegia canadensis is rather toxic, as many plants in the family Ranunculaceae and larger order Ranunculales are, though it does have some purported medicinal uses. By far, its most valuable and important economic use to humans is as an ornamental plant, which is to be encouraged if you live in the region. A common component of so-called wildflower mixes, this plant could and should be a very valuable addition to your garden if you live in the Northeast, especially if you fancy hummingbirds and butterflies. I hope you enjoyed this video. Aquilegia canadensis is an attractive, vibrant wildflower that I hope you'll fall in love with soon on a walk through your local woodland or hillside. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you come back and enjoy more videos soon.